Hi, this is Cheryl-Lynn Freeman, CEO of Mzansi Business Services. Welcome to our online learning platform on Mzansi Empowerment. And we are here to just share some knowledge regarding various aspects of business, compliance, as well as tax, to be able to ensure that you are minimizing costs in your business and not getting penalties, nor getting your company deregistered. Last but not least, we're going to be looking at the requirements for the Department of Labor as part of the last leg of just looking at some basic aspects of business compliance. It's important for you to be able to look at the legislative environment that you are entering into. So this is very high level that I'm just explaining to you certain aspects that you need to know as you're transacting, as your business is growing, you need to become cognizant of. So one of those areas is when you start hiring employees in your organization, then you need to first of all think of what they call UIF, that's Unemployment Insurance Fund. So that essentially is when the particular employee that you have will become unemployed in the sense of either fired or a contract is coming to an end, it's expiring, if retrenchment takes place. It's an insurance for that particular employee to be able to draw a certain percentage of their salary for the period of time that they're actually unemployed. How do you evaluate whether you should be paying for this particular employee that you have? You need to evaluate what is the number of hours that they are working per month. If they are working for at least 24 hours in a month, then you will automatically have to then register that employee, or register your organization, your company for UIF, for Unemployment Insurance Fund. You need to look at employees that you have, not seasonal ones, but ones that you have for at least 6 months in the business, because they need to be working for that period of time in order to actually benefit from this form of what I would call insurance. So how is it calculated? They will take what we call the gross or the basic salary of your staff member, and that's before deductions, and then they will take 1% of that particular amount that they have, and the highest that you can pay on UIF is just over 140 Rand. It does not go further than that. So it's capped at that particular amount. You just need to double check that it doesn't change each year. Then that capped amount is then the only amount, or the highest amount that you can go to, irrespective of whether the salary goes higher than that particular calculation. So it's 1% that gets deducted from the employee's salary. So once you get registered for UIF as a company, please make sure that you are having this conversation with your employees to make sure that they are aware of the deductions that you will be making on their salary before you do it. Don't let it come to them as a surprise. I've had organizations, companies, where they have not paid UIF for quite a while, even though they might have been required to do so a couple of years back, or maybe a couple of months back, and you find yourself in a situation where you're suddenly paying a gross amount over to your staff member and you haven't done deductions, and now you have to get compliant. So in that case, I actually advise that the company, because it was their obligation initially to have deducted that in the first place, to be able to take the responsibility and the liability, or you can go 50-50 with your employee to be able to settle any outstanding liabilities that you have for UIF. So it's 1% from their salary, and it's 1% contribution from the company. So you are paying over a total of a 2% contribution based on the gross salary of that particular employee, depending on the number of staff members that you have. Also, you need to issue a basic payslip of some kind. You can go to the Department of Labor website just to get an overview of the different types of requirements for that particular payslip, the address, the full name, ID number, the staff employee number, that kind of detail, the company name, the company address, that kind of thing. So just look on there. Some people manage it from Excel. I don't like Excel. I'm not interested, not my cup of tea. I try and break up relationships with Excel as much as I can, just because there are so many amazing systems out there to make your work easier, so you can actually focus on more the business development, the sales side of your business, rather than getting bogged down in admin. I know as small businesses we are trying to sort of pinch our wallet to make sure that we are only spending on areas that we need to, but I can tell you it's a no-brainer if you are paying 50 Rand a month. Rather than having to incur errors after that, which will result in having to pay more money over because you made mistakes and that kind of thing. So rather just use the standardized systems, payroll systems that are out there. There's Sage Accounting that I use, there's Simple Pay, there's QuickBooks Payroll that I know if you're an F&B client, there's F&B Instant Payroll that's part of your internet banking options. It's cloud-based that you can use. I think it's free up to about 5 employees that you have, and then you start paying for it afterwards. And there's leave management, it calculates the taxes for you, all the deductions for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. Another very important aspect when we look at managing employees is to make sure that the terms of engagement, the terms of employment is documented in a contract. I have a template for you. If you want that template, my details are at the end of this module, and then you'll be able to get those details. If you've got any questions for me, or if you're looking for certain templates, if I don't have it, I'll guide you to where it is. So it's just to outline what are the hours that the employee is going to be working, what are the days that they're required to work, their leave, that type of thing. You need to be able to have in there. There are standardized requirements that you need to go back to the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, or just on the Department of Labor website. It gives you an outline. An example is your leave needs to be at 1.25 days per month that it accumulates. So that is the minimum amount of days that you can grant the employee. But you can, if you want to do 2 days a month or 3 days a month, you are welcome to do so. But remember, then you also have to adjust your payroll system to be able to match that. And it doesn't depend on the level of the staff member. When I say that, I remember being part of one organization that had a cleaner they employed. And she came in 3 days a week. And they had the impression for 4 years that even though she worked for the company for 4 years, they didn't have to have a contract for her. She is an employee of the company. She's been working, and even right from the beginning, you need to make sure that you set out those terms and conditions, because God forbid you ever have to stand in the court of law trying to argue verbal agreements. Even though it is a gentleman's agreement, is still an agreement, but just to protect yourself and the company, rather work from the contract that you have. Last but not least, of the registrations that you need to consider under the Department of Labor is what we call workers' compensation. That is COIDA. And for COIDA, you need to make sure that from the first employee that you hire, that's immediately when COIDA kicks in. It's workers' compensation. It's also a form of insurance if any of your staff members get injured on the job. So how that works is that you would register first for COIDA, for workers' compensation. You would be issued a partnership number. Then you would have to look at what is your estimated gross salary for the month times 12, and you have to look at it for the particular year that you are submitting it for, and then calculate the minimum fee that you're going to have to pay each year. As an estimate is 1.25% of your gross salary, and it's not necessarily that percentage, because there are certain industries, an example your construction industry, that's much more higher risk than your finance profession, as an example. So that percentage is almost like a risk percentile that they use. So that might change, but the basic is 1.25% of your annual gross salaries. That is your compensation fee. So if you are looking for your letter of good standing, then that is the fee that you need to pay. You need to submit a return called a return on earnings, and there you're going to be showing for the year from the 1st of March up to the end of February, what was the monthly gross salaries that you're paying, and it will add up to your annual, and then it will calculate the fee on the website, on the return ROE website for you. And then from there you pay the fees, and once you pay the fees and you are paid up, there are no other returns outstanding, then you'll be able to get your letter of good standing from the Department of Labor. And yet again, I'm coming back and reiterating the fact that it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity come up than have an opportunity come up and not be prepared. I hope as you've listened to this course that it's helped you. It's very high level, it's just more of your teaser, but I think it's very important that you as a business owner, you are a leader in your own right, that you just get a little bit clued up with the different aspects of business compliance that is there, so you can reduce your costs and don't have to end up paying thousands to an accountant because you've neglected to submit returns each year. And I've got different resources available to you on the Mzansi Empowerment website. You can also get in touch with me on Facebook on the Mzansi Business Services page as well if you've got any questions for me, or you can just go to the website as well, mzansibiz.co.za. I offer services as an accountant and a registered tax practitioner, and I'm more than happy to provide you with some sort of consultation just to give you some basic overview if you think that you are needing a professional for your business. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope it added value to your business. All the best in the field that you are in, and keep going. I know it's not very easy for an entrepreneur, but you know what? You are living out your dream, and that is always a privilege. Some people wait until the latter part of their years of their life and they don't even get to live out their dream.